I played the Marathon Service Slam. It was enjoyable, but it seems to me that it's not going to be that 9 out of 10 launch we come to expect from Bungie releases. It's not another Halo, and it's not that Destiny 2014 lightning in a bottle feeling. And normally for majority of studios, that would be fine. But for Bungie right now, in this instance, that's complicated. Let's not ignore the reality around this game. Marathon has been surrounded by controversy. The art plagiarism situation, the rough alpha reception, Destiny players worried about the resources being split, and general live service fatigue. So when the Service Slam dropped, it wasn't really just testing servers, it was testing everybody's trust. That trust that many don't have in Bungie at the moment. And trust is far harder to stabilise than the back-end infrastructure. This wasn't just a stress test, it was essentially that free demo. An invitation for players to step into Marathon's world and form their own opinions. Because the landscape has changed since Halo, and it's changed since early Destiny. You've heard me say this before, opinions aren't formed quietly anymore. They are formed online, amplified by content creators, reinforced by the communities, and really they're hardened by that tribalism everyone seems to have. Now I was lucky. The two people I played the Service Slam with had very little exposure to the constant online sentiment surrounding Marathon. One of them has taken a break from Destiny for the last 15 months, and the other one loved it. Loved the look, loved the feel, and pre-ordered it after a few matches. The guy that's took a break, he did enjoy playing with us, but he wouldn't be playing it solo. He had his concerns. UI clarity, the increased player density after Bungie's update over the weekend, pacing issues, and honestly, I understand those concerns. We've had plenty of conversations about that during our games. Which brings us to the real question, what actually works? Because there's good things here, strong foundations, good ideas, kind of like liking and subscribing, which, by the way, is also a good thing for this channel. But Marathon, the gunplay, it's fantastic. No surprise, it's Bungie. The weapons feel weighty, responsive, that clean sort of feel. And the art style, I personally loved it. It's bold, it stands out. It isn't chasing Tarkov's 50 Shades of Grey realism. And the enemy AI, honestly, at times, they feel more lethal and threatening than actual players. It's a great feel when you're actually fighting them. It's sort of reminiscent to the elites on Halo and the stronger enemies in Destiny. It's a great foundation. This game has real mechanical promise, but it's not flawless. The maps feel too small, they're too cramped, while equally feeling empty at times. You can go long stretches where you're technically completing contracts, but nothing meaningful is happening. And before Bungie updated the player counts over the weekend, you barely fought all the teams. And for an extraction shooter that was building its marketing around a competitive PvP experience, that's an issue. So they made a change. They increased the number of teams per match. On paper, that's the right call. It definitely caused more chaos. But in practice, it revealed something bigger. Bungie, they reacted fast. Too fast. They caved immediately to that negative sentiment surrounding the game. Now every match feels like you're fighting multiple squads at once. For me, it's more fun, but here's the danger. The maps actually are not designed for this density. The pacing wasn't tuned for this level of chaos. And when you start adjusting core design decisions based on early backlash, you enter dangerous territory. Because we've seen this before. This is how Destiny slowly split its own player base over the years. Appease one group, frustrate the other. Shift direction, course correct, repeat. Marathon is already a niche genre. Extraction shooters are not that mass market casual experiences. Even Art Raiders, which leans lighter, won't stay that way forever if it wants its long-term depth. This genre survives on that tension, pacing, and identity of the actual game, which Marathon has. So if Bungie starts blending Marathon's core design to keep everyone immediately happy, it loses clarity. And a niche game without clarity, it struggles to expand and grow. Because here is what I've noticed after the update. The maps were clearly designed for fewer teams. The pacing felt built around tension, grilled in gradually as you continue through the map. And once player counts increased, almost every match turned into fighting 2 or 3 squads in a single cramped area, especially if you have bounties or contracts for a certain area, and with it being new, everyone will conjugate into that one moment. Then, after all that, nothing. Long stretches of emptiness. Granted, if we won them battles, we do get the better gear that everyone's already scavenged. But it felt more tuned to a mini battle royale type. The tension just wasn't building naturally. It was just spiking all at once. And that's the difference between a good PvPVE design But there is another piece here, and it's the people calling the game too complex. It's a new extraction shooter. Of course it's going to be confusing at first. It's 2026 and we're in an era where attention spans are just shrinking rapidly. If a system or thing isn't instantly understood, people write it off. Destiny wasn't understood in 1 week either. And if you took a break from the game, you come back and again, everything else has just been updated and it's confusing just as much as you as a new player. You can't condemn a system-heavy PvPVE game after a short test. At least give it space to breathe. And there was a complaint from the not-so-optimistic player I played with this weekend regarding too many icons on the UI look similar but have different usage. And yes, I 100% agree with this, and that needs to change. So here's where I land. Marathon isn't a masterpiece right now, and I doubt it will be. But it isn't a complete disaster either, like many of hoped. It, like most AAA games in the 2020s, feels incomplete. The bigger issue isn't whether the gunplay works, it's whether Bungie has the discipline to stick to their own vision, or whether early noise pushes them into that reactive design that we have seen plenty of times with Destiny. Because if this game has any chance of standing on its 2 legs for its lifespan, it can't become another game built by a committee. It needs that identity, like it does with the art style. It needs that confidence, like the AI do when they rush me on 1 HP. But it needs an endgame that justifies the risk, something Vaulted Glass level, meaningful for this universe. But we won't see that until launch. So my final question for you today, did Marathon Service Land make you more confident in Bungie, or did it make you more concerned? Let me know in the comments below.